Today's spring thing is this Best Mom Ever card. I'm going to give you the card design and the envelope design, and then I'm going to walk you through how to create this card in Cricut Design Space. You are going to need your mat, cardstock. I have this white here, and I also have a Park Lane stack. I'm going to use this Craft Bond tape runner. You will need some kind of pen for your Cricut, and I have my brayer tool. In a new project, we are going to go ahead and upload the card SVG files, and I'm just going to drag and drop them in, click on continue, and go ahead and upload. So this card has 3 pieces. There is the outer layer of the envelope, the inner layer of the envelope, and your card. Go ahead and click on ungroup, and once you ungroup, you can see that there are other elements in that group. We're not going to worry about that just yet. We are going to design the front of the card. So to do that, we are going to grab some text, and I am just going to type out Best Mom Ever. And I'm going to loosely place it where I want it on the card. I don't want to use this font, so I need to go up and find a font. And to filter everything to show the free fonts, you click on this little filter thing here and then go to free, and it'll show you all the free fonts. But I'm going to use some system fonts that I have uploaded. This is String Greens WH. You can see it here. And I'm going to use that same font for this one. So I am actually changing these to Spring Onion, and I'm going to make them bigger. And then this one I'm going to change to a more bold font. And my bold font go-to is Impact. I'm going to make these capitalized and then make this bigger. Next, I'm going to add for the inside a couple layers. So I'm going to grab this beveled square, and this first one I'm going to make almost as big as the inside here. This square, it'll be on the inside, and then we need one more square, but I'm going to change this to the color of the envelope insert, and then I'm just going to copy or duplicate this layer, and we'll make a smaller layer. Now for this layer, you can handwrite or you can draw with your Cricut. So let's change this to white because I need it to be a white layer. Grab our text, and I'm going to paste in my message. I am making this card for my daughter. Okay, I have it all typed out. I am going to separate some of these sentences to make it fit a little bit more the way I want it to fit on the card. And then I am going to change the font to Spring Onion again. And I have space to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so we have to finish up this card because this part is going to be cut out. And we need 2 of these, one for behind the card and one for behind the mom section, just to make everything look super nice and neat. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer, and then I need a small square for right behind this mom layer. Doesn't need to be big, and it will be cut out as well in the same as the insert. So I'm going to go ahead and change that color to the insert color. And this is actually going to be cut out in white. And now I need to let's go real quick, and I'm going to align these and make sure they're distributed vertically, and then I am going to weld ever and best together. So go down here to combine and click on weld, and I am just going to turn that off for a moment. And we are working with this card here. We have to ungroup this, and you'll want to be very careful because you don't want to move your score lines. So I'm going to select mom and the card and then click on slice. Now I'm going to get rid of the slice results. Hidden in here somewhere is that score line, but it's not like real visible, but it on my screen it is right up under. It's here. So I'm going to select these two and group them back together, and then I'm also going to click on attach. So now that I have those two grouped and I have all my other pieces ready to go, I need to go back to each of these groups and select the line and go to score. So I'm going to do that for my card and also for the insert and the envelope. It is very important for you to also select the group and click on attach. Now I haven't attached this one yet, and I'm going to show you what happens if you don't attach those score lines. They put the lines on its own sheet, and you do not want that. After you've created the score lines, go ahead and click on the card and click on attach. Now everything is ready to get cut out. Your colors really don't matter just as long as you know which colors are which, if that makes sense. So I know that all of these are going to be the same color or patterned cardstock. This will be one color or pattern cardstock. Same here, these are going to be white, and I'll have one more color of cardstock here. So you can adjust the colors if that is helpful. But for me, I'm just going to leave it this way and go ahead and get everything ready. Click on make and get our mats sorted. I'm going to hit cancel because this tells me that I forgot to attach something. So what I'm going to do is select these groups with their score lines and make sure that it's attached. I think that one is attached. It is this one that is not attached. You can't see that line. So now let's click on make again. So now we have everything attached. Let me check one more thing. I just want to make sure that, nope, this should be attached as well. So I'm going to select it again. I forgot that for some reason my align button doesn't want to do any aligning. So when I select things, like you can see them blink on up here and then blink back off. So I'm going to select all of this. Let me make sure that it's set to, no, it's set to basic cut. So your writing has to be set to pen. And then once that opens, you can choose your pen size. I am going to use 0.4 tip black pen for mine. So now that's done, I'm going to select this whole thing and then click on attach. Let's go back to make. All right, so we're ready for everything. And what we need to make some decisions on, I'm using a 12 by 12 mat, so I'm going to change. Oh, it's not going to let me use a 12 by 12 mat. So I have to go grab one of my long mats for this. But if you didn't change the colors of your mats, then you'll want to make sure that everything is where it should be, and make sure that you are using the colors that you want. I didn't choose any colors ahead of time, so I am just going to wing it. So I'm going to grab a couple sheets out of my paper stack. I am just going to find one that I like, or find a couple that I like. This one looks springy. Grab that one. I guess it looks more fall than spring. Oh, I like this one. So I'm just choosing for the outer envelope right now. Get this out of the way. Go grab a bigger mat. All right, now that we have our mat ready, we are ready to get into cutting. So I am going to put this first sheet down. Oops. And this is a pretty light cardstock. It's not really a cardstock, it's more of a paper. So I'm going to use copy paper for these thinner sheets. And it is prompting me to first load in my scoring wheel. And I'm going to find that, and that is this one. If you don't have a scoring wheel, you can go here to Edit Tools and then choose your scoring stylus. So I'm going to load that in right now, and then I'm going to load in my mat. And now that it's blinking, I'm going to press go. The first thing it's going to do is create the score lines, and then it'll prompt me to put my fine tip back in so that it can cut everything. It's prompting me now to put my fine tip back in, so I am doing that and closing the clamp and pressing go again. And we can check to make sure that it's cut all the way through. It should be fine. And then go ahead and remove it from the machine and load in your next one. Now this cardstock that I'm using is a little bit heavier than the last one, so I'm going to use the light cardstock setting. And it shows me the tools that I need. We're going to need my pen and my fine point blade. So it's measuring the mat length and getting everything working. To get this off without it rolling, I am going to remove my mat from the material. Just do it very carefully. We're removing the mat from the material as opposed to removing the material from the mat, because you see this is basically came off straight. But if I were to do it this way, then we get this rolling. So you will load your pen and your your pen and your fine tip blade together. So I'm just going to stick my pen in here and press it down until I hear the click, and then close the clamp and press go. So it has written and it's cut, and now it wants us to unload. And there is the text for our design, and these are those two pieces. So we'll set those aside. And next we have the inside of our card and the extra squares. So the inside of our card and those squares, I am going to use this green here, and it's a thicker cardstock again, so it's going to give it just a little bit more, make it a little bit more sturdy. I can take this out. We're done with that. And I decided for the actual card, I am going to use this orange here. And I'm going to go ahead and get this out and get this set up on my mat. I'm going to go ahead and load it into the machine, and I'm going to use that same medium cardstock setting for this. And one last time, it's going to tell me to load in my scoring stylus. While it's measuring the mat, I'm going to go ahead and get these off and set aside. And when it's ready, I'm going to click on go. And that's the last piece of our card, so we're just going to get it off of the mat. And if you want to, you can keep that middle to your O, but I'll decide later if I'm keeping it or not. The camera stopped recording while I was getting prepped, but all I've done so far is fold things along the score line and add some glue to this. You want to make sure that your inner card and your card back score lines are matching up. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to fold it into each other, and that should line everything up perfectly. So what I did was folded the inner in, and then I folded the inner part in, centered it to this score line, and then folded everything in together. So next we are going to close, and we need glue here on these edges. I am really fighting with this glue runner, and then just fold it closed. And this is the outer portion of our envelope. Next, we are going to work on the inside of the card. We're going to work on the card next. So first you are going to place your inside. First you're going to place the colored square on the inside of your card. And you're just going to use your tape runner for that as well. Get a tape runner you don't have to fight with. And this is going to go right in the center of the inside bottom of the card. And then our message goes over top of that. And make sure that it's right side up. Center it inside there. Now we're going to add that little colored piece and this white backing here. And here's why. Because when the card is closed, we don't want that message to show. We have this card here, and probably the best way to do this is going to be placing our card down. Let me see if we can secure it this way. Yeah, that gets it in there a little bit. And then grabbing our cover and centering it over. Yeah, that worked out well. Now, you can decide if you want to fight with this little middle piece here, but I'm not. But that's our card. So you can make a couple decisions here. You can use a solid layer for this, and then that way you can write on the outside as well. You can use something more patterned for this inside layer here, but your card will fit perfectly into your envelope. And if you want to close it, you can use a little tape runner. So now you have a 5x5 Mother's Day card and envelope.